All right, welcome back to the Adobe Premiere Pro tutorial. We're Mr. Will. Glad to have you back. In this segment, we are going to discuss color adjusting. All right, there's two subcategories to color adjusting. You have color correction and then you have color grading. You're going to want to know the difference because they're both different. All right, people will talk to you like they're the same, or your clients will talk to you like they're the same, and they're not. They're both take two different trains of thoughts, two different levels of creativity, um, and they also can determine. They will determine how much you charge a client. You're going to want to know this information for your benefit, and going into projects because again, it can be the difference of you spending 10 extra hours or 30 extra minutes. All right, you're going to want to ask. Um, when it comes to your post editing, if your clients wanted things post edited with color correction or color grading. Let's talk about what they are. Color correction. It's the fixing the color or lightness of your image. All right. I say it again. It's fixing the color or lightness of your image. So think of, I'll come down here in my image here and I find a point right here. Basic color correction, that would be me just clicking on an image, making sure it's white balance, making sure that things look red or blue or orange, not too bright, not too dark. And then I export and I send it on and my client is happy. That is basic color correction, okay? Color grading, that is the creative process of adjusting the color for a specific mood or a theme. All right, totally different. Think of your cinematic scenes in your movies, okay? I like to watch a lot of war movies. Um, I like to watch a lot of Marvel movies. So, like in the opening scenes of Endgame, you have a deep, like, dark saturation around the screen that goes around the whole scene. It really highlights the dark mood and the moment of that scene. That is color grading. Okay, it's a totally different thing. Again, it's the creative process of adjusting the color for a specific mood or theme. Learn that, understand that, and then you'll be able to, really take off because you'll know the difference, and it'll allow you to work with all the information. And work with all the information means that you'll work at a high level. All right, basic color correction. What you want to do is you want to come up to the Windows tab, go over to Workspaces, come on down to Color, make sure Color's selected, and then also you can come over to the top right hand of the screen where it says Quick Export. Right to the left of that, it says Workspaces. Click on Workspaces, make sure that the Color tab is checked. What you're going to want to do is come to the source monitor, click on Lumetri Scopes, come over to the effects panel, and make sure Lumetri color is selected. Okay. All right. In your Lumetri color panel, you'll see 6 categories of color correction. These are 6 categories of just options that you have at your disposal to come up with different looks, to color correct, to color grade. It's all here. All right. You have basic correction, you have creative, you have curves, you have color wheels and match, you have HSL secondary, and you have the vignette. All right. So make sure that you know uh, what these are, and that you know that they're here. I'll explain what they are. Over here in the source monitor, you have the Lumetri scopes. What are Lumetri scopes? These measurements help us determine what changes to the lightness and the color we need to make in the scene, all right? So again, these measurements help us determine what changes to the lightness and the color we need to make. What are the scopes and how do we read them? All right. So you have, I have I have 3 different Lumetri scopes selected. Why is this important to me? Why does Adobe even have this as a feature? Lumetri scopes represent a true representation of what colors look like. No matter what it looks like on your monitor, Lumetri scopes are a true representation of what the colors look like. So understand, things can look different from TV monitor to TV monitor, or from phone to phone, or whatever device people are watching your movie from or a movie on. So the Lumetri scopes will give you that consistency across the board. All right. So that is the power of using Lumetri scopes. The Lumetri scopes that you're going to want to play with, or that you're going to want to use, I have checked here. All right. The Vector Scope YUV, Parade RGB, and Waveform Luma. Okay. And some Waveform Luma is not checked. So what you do is you come down to Waveform Type, and you come down here, highlight Luma, you select Luma, and there you'll have it. You'll have your categories right here. All right, and your vector scope YUV up here to my right, it shows the basic colors, your hues, your RGBs. This outer line right here is called the broadcast line. Why is this important? Because this in here represents the color of the image. Long as the image, this image pointing out either direction refers to saturation. Okay, something being oversaturated, or just the saturation of the image. It's all in here. You do not want the image to even come close or past the broadcast line, because that's when you'll know everything is out of balance. Okay, you'll see a line, a light line here. That is your skin tone line. All right. And what you can do is you can isolate a sample of someone's skin, and you can make adjustments and make that line match up. Then that will be a true representation of someone's skin tone. But that is the skin tone line. And then you have everything in perfect symmetry is when this line is in sync with this line. So it almost measures up like 12 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Like when both hands like overlap, it'll look like that on the skin tone line. All right. Next, we have the RGB. You have your red, greens, and blues. All 3, when they're all well balanced, that means you can just take a look at the image. It's a well balanced shot. All right. This image has already been uh, it's already been color corrected, so that's why it looks as nice as it does. But this just shows you how to read an image. So if this image, so if I was to put this clip in and I got my Lumetri scopes up and I'm looking at this image, how would I know that this image is out of sync right now? I would come right here and look at the RGB Parade scopes tool. If, just say, the red is higher than the green and the blue, or the red is high, the green is low, and the blue is high as well. What you do, this will let you know that the image needs white balance. If any of these 3 are out of sync, just know the image needs white balance. It's the easiest read. Okay, so before you can even make the determination yourself, just come over here and look. If any of these 3 are out of sync, it needs white balanced. If you need it to be white balanced, how do you do that? All you do is just come over to the curves tab, click on the curves, and then you would click on the corresponding color that's out of white balance, and all you do is just drag it down. Since it's high, you would just want to drag it down to where everything starts to balance out. Once you drag it down, you'll see the meter move. You'll see the gauges adjust to the adjustments that you're making real time. It's simple, it's easy, and you can use that as to know an indicator that the image needs to be white balanced. If you don't want to manually white balance it, again, just come up to basic color correction and let the software auto white balance it for you, and you're good. That's what we did here in this image, and look here, we're good. Last but not least, we have the waveform luma. All right, this represents the brightness in the image. Okay, we want to make sure that the brightness does not exceed 100 and does not go below 0. Again, this image has already been color corrected, so everything almost looks perfect. You don't want it to go over 100 and you don't want it to go below 0. Anything over 100, we're already going to know it's going to be really, really oversaturated in light, okay? Anything below 0 is going to be dark. It'll let you know that there's issues within the image. So that is basic color adjusting with Mr. Williams. Take some time, play with these features, play with these functions. We looked a lot into basic correction and curves. Again, that's how you do some basic color correction. That's how you adjust the coloring if something is off. Again, take some time to play with that. Take a moment just to play with how everything works. That'll give you an indication of what things actually do. Like I said, I can sit here and go through one of one and what everything does, but it doesn't quite come off the same until you do it yourself, because you can see like real time right in front of you, because my TV monitor, my computer monitor might not show the visual difference like it needs to. So please play around with it. Play around with it. You can always hit the reset button. Nothing's, locked in stone. This is meant for editing, and editing means that you can make thousands of changes in 1,000 different ways and undo it all just to get back to square one. Okay. So again, play around. Make sure you learn the information. Get good at it. See you in the next lesson.